All right, we here at the. Dang, I done messed up.
Now the blooper.
The bloopers. We got them. Guiding. All right, we are here at the Grindin State University 3-piece nugget questionnaire.
Uh-oh. 3-piece nugget?
3-piece nugget.
What kind of sauce?
Barbecue, sweet and sour, whatever you like.
Okay.
You feel me?
So it's a 3-piece nugget, but you gotta put your own sauce with it.
You gotta put your own sauce with it. You know what I'm saying? Whatever flavor you like, you go with it. You know what I'm saying?
That's roll it. All right.
And that's what these questions about, because you about to put your own flavor on it. You know.
So
what I'm saying?
is it the same topic, or you just gotta they just random? Where
It's kind of like a switcheroo. You know what I'm saying? Switcheroo, what it do?
Okay.
3-piece nugget. You know what I'm saying? We about to get it in on this first one.
All right, let's see.
All right. How do you feel about the industry transition from '96 to now?
The industry transition. You mean like the music industry?
Yeah, as far as the music industry and how it done changed from when you done grew up from the from the '90s all the way to now. Like seeing the transition from your era to the early 2000 era, all the way to the era that's now. You know what I'm saying?
I can't. Well, the industry, I would say, of course, technology affected the music industry.
Yeah.
But as far as for me, I would say from the 80s and 90s, what the music industry has done to hip hop culture.
Yeah.
It's kind of painful to see the effects of industry and commercialization, what it did to culture.
The culture.
And that's kind of across the board. Anytime you involve industry and commercialization and money and finance and contracts and loans.
Yeah.
Anytime that gets involved with any type of thing that's organic or any type of culture, it could create a cesspool of greed.
Yeah.
And leeches and vipers and snakes, and it kind of makes it dilutes that very culture that once was a beautiful thing and organic and from the people. Once those entities get involved with it, it's going to affect any culture. I don't care. It's like a mom and pop restaurant.
Yeah.
They have one restaurant and that food be good. The minute they get involved with a bank and investors and they get a chain of restaurants, the quality of the food go down.
Right.
So same thing happened with the music industry.
All right, I'm about to get into my second question. How does it feel to get extradited?
Well, for anybody that don't know what extradition is or what it is to be extradited, it's when you get transported from one jurisdiction to another jurisdiction, whether while incarcerated or after incarceration. Sometimes maybe before, you even get sentences, you can get transferred to a different jurisdiction. And that process is not at your own will. So you're definitely handcuffed within the process. For me, I went on an airplane. So I flew from Detroit Metro on my last day of release from Michigan Department of Corrections. I got sent to Wayne County, the Newport News Sheriff's Department, sent 2 sheriffs to get me. Mind you, and during this process, you don't know. Like the 2 sheriffs, they stayed at Greektown Casino Hotel. They was going to the casino,
right?
Spending money like a little vacation. And guess who had to pay for all that? My ass when I got out. That was part of my restitution and
some BS.
And yeah, all that probation fees and all that. I had to pay 3 racks for them to come get me.
Yeah, that's some BS right there.
That was one thing that I learned aftermath, but during the process, it was different. It was during Thanksgiving weekend. You feel like a slave, basically.
Yeah.
Like somebody coming to get you against your will. You under their jurisdiction. You their property. You state property. Like
yeah.
That wasn't just a rap group. That's a real thing.
That's a real thing.
You
That's
actually,
what that really meant.
Like you really are a slave. Like if you don't understand the 13th and 14th Amendment, slavery is not over. It's just abolished.
Yeah.
And it's only abolished if you don't commit crimes. If you commit a crime, then now they have the right to make you a slave again. And when you are a convicted felon, you are on the books of the Constitution. You are a slave.
Yeah.
When you're incarcerated, you're a slave.
Facts though.
So everything that they're doing with you, even with transporting me, that was all money. That was all money.
Yeah.
Your property at that point. You're worth at least 50,000 because they get paid 50,000 to take care of you every year.
Mm-hmm.
So it was in their interest to bring me back because that was more money
Right.
that they get for you. So you feel like a slave. You handcuffed. The people were very supportive in the airports. I flew through Detroit Metro, and then I forgot what Atlanta airport is called, but Atlanta, it was definitely a lot of support. It was Thanksgiving weekend, so everybody hold your head, baby, and all that, and people telling me,
showing love,
but and then the sheriffs weren't that bad, good cop, bad cop situation, so-called black female was the mean one, the so-called black guy was more so lenient. Well, he was from Detroit, actually. That's why they sent him along, because he knew the way around Detroit.
Yeah.
And kind of like, I guess mentally kind of try to like bond with me to get me, not to like be unruly or whatever. But he was cool. They let me eat A&W at the airport. I think Wendy's, both airports. I got to get some food. But that was like the last meal before you get that nasty, jail food again. So, but no, if I had to sum it up, you feel like a slave, and it's against your will. So
yeah,
it's a lot that go with that. That's a lot of unpacking.
Yeah.
The basic word, slave. So
slaves.
stay out of trouble, man, and don't go state to state causing problems.
And we'll definitely touch back in more on that. You know what I'm saying? All right, now my third question to you, man.
Mm-hmm.
Being from Detroit and actually seeing different walks of life and living in different states, how does it feel living in the city?
Living in the city, it always feels like home. So I never negate that feeling.
Yeah.
Of feeling at home when I'm in Detroit. Always kind of being in my comfort zone. You know what I'm saying? However, the double-edged sword with that is you can get complacent when you home.
Yeah.
Detroit is a place where you're around your own kind. We around our folks. Detroit always feel like family. It's like everywhere you go, you could be at the grocery store and you see that older lady that reminds you of your auntie. You could go to the Coney Island and you see old girl snapping on the person behind the counter because her food ain't right. That's how your sister act. Like, so it's like when you in Detroit, it's like you don't never feel unwanted.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It has its problems and people have issues and all that, but you recognize everything is familiar when you're in Detroit.
Yeah, it's home.
It's home. So
yeah,
sometimes that could be bad for you.
Yeah.
It could keep you complacent, it keep you not striving to see anything else. And then when you are exposed to something different, you don't know how to handle it. So,
yeah.
Me early on going out of town and living out of town, especially in the South, I didn't adapt well to people. People really had to like sit me down, like, hey, why are you so aggressive? Like,
Yeah.
Why are you so, like, why is your behavior? Why do you have to constantly let somebody know you from Detroit?
Yeah. And
like we get it. Like, you from Detroit, okay.
But y'all understand,
so that aggressiveness and that pride that we have as Detroiters, only now, like it's loved now, and even in the past, like going to Freaknik and just traveling and going out of town. Like every time you say you're from Detroit, it's always been love. Only place I ever had issues about, I always got into it. Living out of town, I always got into it with niggas from Chicago and New York niggas.
Yeah.
But when you look at the so-called spirit of those cities, they're aggressive cities.
Yeah.
So, you gonna bump heads with that similar, aggressive, it's all demonic if you really want to break it down, like to be at war, or that it's ego and machoism. So it's like, I'm from
that's
here.
A spirit.
It's a spirit. So I'm from here. So
yeah.
Where I'm from, we don't back down. But where I'm from, we don't back down. So, so it's like being from Detroit has put me in those type of situations where it's like, we don't know about no backing down. Like,
yeah.
What you mean turn my hat around? What you mean, don't call me that or don't talk to me like that. Like so, that's where it always comes. I'm from the D. I'm from Detroit. Like,
don't disrespect me,
like,
dog.
don't get it fucked up. Like,
right.
You know what I mean? So, and then sometimes that can get you in trouble too.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta know. You gotta know when you're not in your zone. You know what I'm saying? So, and living out of town taught me that. You know, and sometimes you need that. You need to know when to be humble.
Yeah.
Sit down.
Sit down for
You know
sure.
what I'm saying? and Detroit, unfortunately, Detroit don't put that in us.
Yeah.
It don't put that in us. So, but that's why sometimes when you in Detroit, sometimes that might be where you need to be until you can prepare yourself mentally and take that aggression down and go be nice, go be friendly and meet people. You know
go enjoy life, man.
Go enjoy life. And now I think people are opening up to Detroit and people are starting to see like even when people come here, they feel like family.
Yeah.
Because it ain't too many all so-called black cities.
Yeah.
You know, this was the mecca of black bourgeoisie.
And we more welcoming, we more welcoming to the tourists than we are amongst ourselves too. You know what I'm saying?
Right, we like to show people Detroit when they come.
In a crazy way. It's kind of backwards, but you know.
So,
yeah, man.
But no, it always feel home. But like I said, you could definitely get in that rut here where you need to get a what they call it, a sensory overload of something different.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So.
All right.
What else you got for me?
That's it, bro.
Until
next time, man. This that three-piece nugget right there. That's the three-piece nugget, man.
Oh, man, you got me started. Well, look, listen. Well, I might have to order me another order. So,
yeah, for sure. We got another order coming in next time, and then we can just stem off what we was just talking about, bro.
All right, this time was barbecue sauce. Probably next time I'm gonna do the honey mustard.
Honey mustard joints. You feel me?
Off the honey mustard.
Off the honey mustard joints.
Yeah.
Three-piece nugget. Until next time, we'll holler at y'all.
Salute.
Y'all be safe out there. We love y'all. You know what I'm saying? Salute to every GSU.
Breadwork, MARC City Beats.
You feel me?
Breadwork Network. I mean, like who else gonna come and eat some of these three-piece nuggets? We cooking over here.
Food for knowledge, man.
You know what I'm saying?
Food for thought, man.
Yeah, so I mean, can you stand up under the pressure of the three-piece nugget?
You feel me?
Cause I'm a eat. I'm coming to eat.
Yeah.
1 nugget, 2 nuggets, 3.